Everyone thinks Sonic is just a harmless blue mascot. Speed, energy, nostalgia. But you don't realize something. Every horror story has a birth. Every curse has an origin. And every character, even fictional ones, can become something else when left in the dark long enough. I used to laugh at those Sonic.exe videos, cheap jump scares, kids' creepypasta stuff. But then something happened to me, something so real, so intrusive that I can no longer separate the game from the thing inside it. If you feel something watching you before this story ends, don't look behind you. Some things move faster than fear. I've always been a night owl, the type who sits at the computer long after everyone else sleeps. My room is dim, lit only by the soft blue glow of my monitor, the hum of the CPU filling the silence. It's comforting, routine, predictable, safe. Or at least it was before everything changed. This all started when I found an old hard drive in a box of my childhood stuff. A chunky silver one, the kind used back in early 2000s PCs. I didn't remember much about it, except that it probably held old school projects or maybe some pirated games. I plugged into my PC just to see what nostalgia I could dig up. I should have left it in the box. I should have ignored it. I should have known that nothing forgotten stays forgotten without a reason. The drive booted, showing a folder simply labeled Games. Inside were mostly broken executables except one, Sonic_exe. No icon, just a black square. I laughed. Some edgy mod from my childhood? Probably one of those creepy fan-made versions. I didn't remember downloading it, but I double-clicked it anyway. The screen went black for a few seconds, longer than normal. No intro screen, no Sega logo, just darkness. Then, faintly, the music started, but not the cheerful 16-bit tunes I remember. It was slow, distorted, like someone dragging a violin bow across rusted metal. The title appeared in jittery red letters. Sonic wasn't smiling. In fact, his eyes were entirely black. No pupils, no whites. Just voids, and he wasn't running. He was standing perfectly still, facing the screen, slightly tilted as if he'd been frozen mid-animation. I tried moving the cursor, but it lagged. The entire game felt sluggish, like my computer was struggling under the weight of something it shouldn't be running. Still, I clicked start. The first level loaded, but instead of the bright green hill zone, it was a dark version of it. Shadows swallowing the cartoon colors. Trees were bent unnaturally, leaves falling upward like gravity had given up. Sonic appeared at the start of the path, head lowered. When I pressed the arrow key, something happened that made my stomach twist. He didn't run. He jerked. Sudden, rigid movements like a puppet pulled by strings. The background music slowed further, occasionally cracking like an old vinyl. A message popped on the screen in red, pixelated letters. Why did you come back? I blinked. Was that part of the mod? Before I could react, Sonic's sprite slowly lifted his head. His eyes, still solid black, stared directly at the screen. Then the blackness expanded, spreading across his body. The level, the trees, everything. My monitor flickered. My speakers hissed. Then the game crashed. Or so I thought, because when the screen went black, I could still hear footsteps. Slow, wet, squishing, coming from inside the game audio. Footsteps approaching. Then a whisper, faint but unmistakable, slipped through my headphones. You're still here. I ripped the headphones off. The whisper continued. Without them, it was coming from my monitor. I should have shut off the PC. I should have unplugged everything. But instead, I clicked the game again. Curiosity kills more than cats. This time the game didn't ask who I was or why I was there. It loaded into a new location, a long, empty hallway made of stone. Not a Sonic environment. Something entirely different. Something real. Sonic appeared again, but he was distorted. Longer limbs, neck bent unnaturally, body twitching every few seconds. His feet didn't touch the ground. He hovered, moving slowly forward even when I wasn't pressing anything. The hallway flickered like bad fluorescent lights. I tried pressing escape, but nothing happened. I tried Alt plus F4, nothing. Control plus Alt plus Del, nothing. I even tried pulling the USB cable from the old hard drive, but the game stayed open. The hallway got darker the further Sonic went. His body jerked violently as he moved, like something was puppeteering him with too much force. Then my webcam light turned on. I froze. My webcam has no reason to turn on by itself. The game screen flickered and pixelated. A text box appeared. I see you. My webcam clicked, taking a picture. I stumbled back from the desk. What the hell, stop. Another message. Don't turn away. Sonic's head slowly rotated, not turning naturally, but twisting like wet cloth, until he faced the screen again. His mouth stretched, pixels tearing apart, forming something like a grin but wrong. Too wide, teeth sharp and uneven. The screen flickered, showing static, then a brief flash of my room from the webcam. Then pixels glitched across the screen, forming a silhouette behind me. A tall, thin shape, standing just at the edge of the camera's view. I whipped around. Nothing. The game showed another message. Look again. The screen flashed. The silhouette was closer now. I turned back. Again, nothing. I felt cold air brush against the back of my neck. My breath hitched. The game characters started flickering intensely. Sonic's limbs bending at impossible angles, his body splitting and recombining like broken frames. Then the screen cut to black. For several seconds, nothing happened. Total silence. Then the faint whisper returned. You're not supposed to leave. I hit the power button on my PC. Held it. Nothing. It wouldn't turn off. The whisper grew louder, closer. Stay with me. My monitor flickered back on, without the PC rebooting. Just the monitor. The screen displayed my own desktop. Except every icon was gone except one, a black square labeled. I froze. My body refused to turn. I didn't want to see if anything was there. The square opened on its own. The screen filled with distorted Sonic sprites. Thousands of them, crawling across the screen like ants. Their faces twisted, eyes bleeding, mouths stretching. Then the whisper. Run. My whole apartment shook. Lights flickered. The floor vibrated like something was moving underneath it. I finally managed to slam my hand on the PC power supply switch. The monitor went black instantly. The hum of the computer died. Silence. I didn't move for 10 minutes. Didn't breathe properly until I felt my lungs burning. Eventually, I unplugged the old hard drive, shoved it back into the box, and threw it into the trash chute. I didn't care who found it. I forced myself to believe it was over. But that night, when I tried to sleep, I heard the footsteps again. Not from the game. From the hallway outside my bedroom. Slow, wet, squishing. I pulled the blankets over my head, heart racing. The footsteps stopped at my door. Then a soft tapping began. Tap, tap, tap. I didn't answer. I didn't move. Then a voice whispered through the crack at the bottom of the door. You could turn the monitor back on now. I squeezed my eyes shut. Morning would come soon. Morning always fixes everything. At least, that's what I thought. But when I finally opened my eyes, the sun didn't greet me. My monitor did. It was on, and on the screen, written in red pixels. I tried to shut it off. Tried to unplug it. Nothing worked. The message blinked again. Come play. And then the hallway from the game appeared again. Except it wasn't pixelated anymore. It looked real. Photorealistic stone. Real shadows. Real darkness. In the distance, I saw something move. A tall figure. Not Sonic. Not a character. A person-shaped mass of darkness slowly walking toward the screen. Toward me. I stumbled backward, knocking over my chair. I tried running toward the door, but the door slammed shut before I could reach it, hard enough to rattle the walls. The thing on the screen got closer. 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 And when it reached the edge of the frame, it smiled. Not with a mouth, but with its entire shape stretching into a jagged curve. Then the screen cracked from the inside. I don't remember what happened next. I passed out from pure terror. When I woke up hours later, the screen was normal. The game was gone. The desktop was clean. For a moment, I thought it was all just a nightmare. Until I saw the new folder on my desktop. Level 2. You're almost there. Inside it was a single image. A photo. A photo taken from my webcam. A photo of me sleeping. And in the background, behind me, standing over my bed, something dark and smiling. I thought I was immune to urban legends. The stories about Sonic.exe and haunted games were just that, stories. I laughed at videos, shrugged off the warnings. That is, until I found a copy of the game in a dumpster behind my college one rainy night. It was wrapped in a plastic bag, soggy, torn, with no label except a handwritten note. Don't play alone. I ignored it, naturally, because of course I was alone. I cleaned it up, plugged it into my laptop back in my dorm. Rain tapping on the windows, thunder rumbling in the distance. The game loaded instantly. No installer, no menu. Just a black screen and a single red message. Welcome back. The cursor appeared, trembling. I moved it, and suddenly Sonic appeared. Not the cheerful blue hedgehog from my childhood. No, this Sonic was wrong. Thin, long-limbed, black eyes bleeding pixels, smile jagged like broken glass. A chill ran down my spine, but I couldn't look away. Something about the way he stared made my skin crawl. I pressed start anyway. The game environment appeared, but it wasn't the Green Hill Zone. It was my dorm hallway. Pixel perfect, but twisted. Shadows fell wrong. Doors slightly ajar that should have been closed. My roommate's door stood empty. I pressed the arrow keys. Sonic moved, but he wasn't running. He glided unnaturally, like he was floating above the floor. And every step he took echoed in my dorm room. I laughed nervously. Okay, that's kind of neat. The screen flickered. My reflection appeared in it. My pale, scared face. And behind me, a dark shape just out of frame. I turned. Nothing. While I looked back, Sonic was closer. Not on the screen. Closer. Inside the reflection. The whispers started. Faint, distant, and sharper. I'm here. I never sleep. The words weren't coming from the game. They weren't in the speakers. They were in my head. And then I realized my heartbeat was no longer my own. The rhythm quickened unnaturally. My fingers trembled over the keyboard. The game glitched. Sonic's sprite split into hundreds of little versions of himself, all moving toward me. Each one smiling that jagged smile, eyes black voids, bodies stretching in impossible angles. The whispers multiplied, now overlapping screams. Don't turn around. Don't move. I froze. My laptop flickered violently. The room temperature dropped. Frost formed on the windows. I could see my breath. I wanted to shut down the laptop, but my hands wouldn't obey. They hovered above the keyboard, frozen, as if the game had a hold on me. The screen flashed images of my dorm, every detail perfect. Every shadow, every corner. Then my own bed appeared on the screen. My bed just behind my chair. I whipped around. Empty. And then I saw it. A shadow, taller than a man. Thin, twisted, its head tilted, glowing eyes like the black voids from a game. And it was smiling. I screamed, but no sound came out. I stumbled backward. The figure didn't move like a person. It slithered, almost like liquid, toward me. Sonic's laugh, digital and distorted, erupted from the laptop speakers. I fell, hitting the desk. The laptop screen shattered, yet the image remained. Sonic's face, grinning, floating above the fragments. The shadow whispered my name. Not the first or last I might hear it. Only my name, slow and deliberate. I crawled toward the door, desperate. I ripped it open. My dorm hall was empty, quiet. Too quiet. The lights flickered. Every door along the hall was ajar, shadows pooling behind them. And I could hear it, the faint, unnatural tapping of claws, of something moving just out of sight. I ran, stairwell after stairwell, down to the lobby. My dorm was normally locked at night, but the front doors were open. I stumbled outside into the cold rain. Lightning struck nearby, illuminating the street. My dorm in that brief flash looked wrong. Every window was dark, except for one, the room where I had been. And in it, the figure of Sonic, standing in my window, smiling. I didn't wait to look again. I ran to the street, cars passing, no one noticing. I didn't stop until I reached my friend's apartment across town. Safe, or so I thought. I tried to explain, tried to show the USB with the game. But when I pulled it out of my bag, it was gone. Not lost, not misplaced. Gone. And my friend's laptop, on the table, turned on by itself. The screen displayed a single line of red text. I never sleep. I ran again. Every street, every corner, I felt it behind me. Watching, faster than I could run. Smiling. I eventually made it home. Locked every door. every window, cover my mirrors, try to convince myself it was over. Try to sleep, but I couldn't. Every night since, I've heard it. The faint blue blur of feet across the floor. The whispers, the scratching on walls. My reflection smiling back at me with black, hollow eyes. And the strangest, worst part? I don't have the game anymore. I haven't touched a computer in weeks. Yet, somehow, every screen I pass glows faintly blue. Every digital display, from elevators to ATMs, flickers with a glitch, a shadow of him. And every night, when I close my eyes, I see Sonic, smiling, standing at the end of a dark hallway, faster than I could ever hope to run. I know it's only a matter of time before he catches me, because Sonic doesn't sleep, and neither can I.